Okay, I'm gonna quickly go over how to use this randomizer with all these customization settings. I know it looks a bit confusing, but don't worry. When I'm done, it'll be pretty simple and clean. Is the way that you're pretty easy to understand. Now, before I get into this, I do want to give a big thanks to Simulate and Taylor JG on GitHub. It's thanks to their code that I was able to create the logic for this entire randomizer. They had the solving logic. I just created a way to make it compatible with today's panel system. So moving on, I'll start with these panel types. You have the item panel, level, magic, support, weapon, ring, and garbage. Now if I open my game up right here, as you can see, your panel types are items, levels, magic, support, weapon, ring. This is called synthesis, but I'm calling it garbage because you definitely do not want these panels in your setups. One other thing to note, backpacks and pack extenders are in this level up section. I moved them over to support. So going back onto the randomizer, there are 6 different settings here for none, 1, less, normal, more, and only. To start off, none basically means it won't include it in your random panels. So none on items means no items. 1 basically means include 1. I'll go over less and more a bit later. Only means include anything that's in the only category, so this would be only items, this would be only magic and only items, and you get the idea. Normal means normal, basically any of the random panels from here. Less and more are something I added in late to the randomizer. Less basically means exclude this type for a 30% chance. So if I have something like this, the code would basically say if it hits that 30% chance, instead of picking from all of these panels, only pick from these non-less panels. So it means a 30% chance to exclude picking a random panel from item or level. Kind of the same for more, except this basically means a 30% chance that you pick from the more panel types. So there will be a 30% chance that you pick a item panel or a level panel. Normal is the default 40% chance. These all have it. If no less is included or no more is included, this will be 100%. If there's only less included and no mores, this will be a 70% chance. So these will always stay at 30% chance. This can be 40, 70, or 100. And moving on, I guess the next thing I should talk about is these mode selects. Classic mode is based on the randomizer I did a few years ago, where it just picks a random panel for all 120 of Roxas's panel slots. It doesn't care about linking, it doesn't care about making the shapes fit, it just picks. And the problem with that was link panels don't appear on your grid unless they are actually linked. So even if they are linked, if they're linked inside a panel that's wrong, it just won't do anything. While fun, this just lacked a lot of the logic. Single basically means it picks from single panels only, so panels that are 1 by 1. Multi means pick mainly from multi-panels, meaning panels that are not 1 by 1. And there is a threshold that it's used for both multi and random, which is 36, because the program here solves 1 grid at a time. So that would mean it would pick from the multi-panels up to a count of 36 or higher. Afterwards, it will pick single panels only. Reason being, I cannot have it on 40 per grid, otherwise this program will be very slow. And trust me, it is really slow. A lot of the panels do not fit well with each other. Random basically means pick either a single panel or a multi-panel. It doesn't matter, it is completely random what kind of panel it picks. It doesn't care if it's single or multi, it will just pick. Except when it reaches the threshold, then it will pick from single only, once again. The threshold is normally at 36. The only time the threshold will be lower is with supports only, which will reduce it to 31. And with weapons only, which will reduce it to 24. The reason being, the panel shapes for both weapons and supports are very bad. They don't work that well together, so I had to drastically lower it, especially for weapons, because all of the weapon panels are mostly the same shape, just getting a tiny bit longer, and they will not fit well. One last thing I have here is the Chaos mode, which I added in recently. Chaos basically means all of these will be random, all of these will be random, so it pretty much is pure chaos. One last thing I included here was panel inclusions and exclusions. I know a lot of casual Kingdom Hearts players cannot play the game without scan, myself included. I hate playing without scan. So if you do this, it will include the scan panel. There's also 2 rings in the game, which I would assume casual players would not want to include. These are the 1 HP ring and the risky play ring. The 1 HP ring is called the Extreme, and as its name states, reduces your HP to 1 but gives you a high EXP boost. I'm pretty sure a lot of people don't want this randomly, but in case you do want to include it randomly, or just include it in general, it's there. Risky play as well. This ring gives you 100% resistance to everything, except it gives you risky play and perma plight, meaning every attack you miss, you'll lose HP. And if your HP reaches a low amount, you can no longer heal. So there are include and excludes here. All of these panels will be given to you on your 3rd panel grid. All of the panels here that are on 1 will be given to you on the 1st panel grid. So that way it doesn't pack everything into 1. So now, just to show off this, let's say I go with multi, I go with 1 item, no levels, only magic, 1 support, 1 weapon, 1 ring. I also included the console here. I probably should have gotten rid of all the delete or all the logging statements, but this is just so satisfying to watch when the program works, and I really hope this does not take long. Great. Okay, so now if I go here and I load up my code, and press select, and here we go. 1 support, 1 item, 1 ring, and 1 weapon panel. And then I also included scan, which is right here, and the rest is just whole magic, and it perfectly fits. And because I did multi-mode, mainly most of the panels are these kind of multi-panels. And then a couple single panels, which are these 1x1 type panels. So as you can see, this works. Sometimes when running the code, it might be a bit slow, and it'll take a little bit. If it takes more than a minute, just press the run button on the top left to reset everything, because it might just keep going on forever. I think about a minute is a safe amount of time for a code to load up. If it takes more than that, just reset it. And one last thing I wanted to mention. There's 2 codes here that I included. Please load in these codes. They are 100% essential to use. You absolutely need these codes because the randomizer will not work without them. The first code is to include all of your panel slots. So this will just unlock all 120 of Roxas's panels. And this long one is just 99 of every panel, and you need panels or else the code will not work. So this is basically 99 of every panel. And I guess while I'm here, I can just show off the other modes as well. For instance, Classic mode. Now, this is how the original randomizer worked. One other thing I forgot to mention, actually. When you click here, this should copy all of this code into your clipboard, so you can just paste it in. If it doesn't copy to your clipboard, just simply, like, copy it here. I have no idea why it does this sometimes. I just don't need to worry about it, because the code will still work. Now, to show off what Classic is like, it's a disaster. And so to show off how Classic looks like, it's a big mess, as you can see. There's all this garbage, like a weapon panel, but there's a magic inside of it. There's some synthesis items, a ring inside a level tripler, and inside auto life. And that's basically Classic mode. And then to show off Chaos, it will just put everything to random and then try it. There is one additional thing to mention. Sometimes something like this can happen, where if you do, like, say, only supports, and then set it to single. So now if I put this in, sometimes this can happen. Just don't worry about it, because it's just a graphical thing. Everything is fine. I know this looks scary, but trust me, it's okay. Don't worry about this, because all of it will still work. Everything will be okay. And that should be it for the panel randomizer. The link to this will be in the description, as well as any other resources. Once again, big thanks to the Semulate and Taylor JG on GitHub. They had the original solving logic that I used, and thanks to them I was able to make it compatible with the Days panel system. Also, I have mostly documented my code with how it works, what each function does, and so on. Just in case anyone else wants to pick this up, I apologize in advance for how messy the code would look. I am not good at using JavaScript. I'm not good at using HTML. I had to Google every question I had, like, how do I include this? How do I include everything from an array into another array, and so on like that. So I am really sorry for how messy it can look, but I tried my best. So with that said, hope you enjoy your randomizers, and go out and have some fun with this. Goodbye.